A round robin was a flight that began and ended after one or more intermediate stops at the same place. Cross country meant what it sounded like. RON stood for Remain Overnight. "Oh, you speak aviation?" he said. "My father is an aviator, you might recall." "Now that you mention it." She shook her head. He went on. "Lieutenant Miller is also on that recruiting flight. Remember him? You met him, briefly. Recruiting flight?" "You mean you don't know?" "Know what?" "What they do when these splendid young fledgling birdmen are about to finish their course of instruction and graduate." "Randy graduates next Friday. We'll be married on Sunday at 3 in Chapel 1. "Thank you for sharing that with me." "As I was saying, when they were about to finish, they schedule one of those cross-country round-robin RON training flights you mentioned, with stops at Fort Benning, Stewart, and, depending on the weather, either Knox or Bragg. 8 or 10, for that matter, 2 Apaches coming in for a landing is a sight that will impress young officers. Some of these fledgling birdmen will even be bright enough to extrapolate from that driving one such machine and getting flight pay to do so would seem to be a far smarter way to serve one's country than mucking about in the mud, etc., as they are doing. They then apply for flight training. This is called recruiting, hence the term, recruiting flights." "I almost believe that." "Miss Wilson, there is no limit to what terrible things certain people will do to further Army aviation." She looked at him for a moment before smiling again. "Well, anyway, you don't have to worry about Randy bursting through your door. He called me from Fort Stewart about an hour ago." "And suggested you come over here and say hi if you were bored?" "God, just don't stop, do you?" "Are we back to the apology, or have I said something that's changed your mind?" "You're making it hard, but I haven't changed my mind." "Are you familiar with Ed McMahon, the entertainer, Miss Wilson?" "Can you call me Beth?" "Obviously I can. The questions would seem to be, will I, and or why should I?" "Because it would make things easier for me. And yes, I know who McMahon is." "Why?" "Because, Beth." "Thank you." "You're welcome, Beth. Mr. McMahon said that drink is God's payment for hard work, and as I worked hard all day..." "Doing what?" "I spent 3 hours in an Apache and 2:30 in a Mohawk. Thank you for your interest. As I was saying, I worked hard all day, and in the shower I was planning to accept my just pay the moment I was dry. But then you started bonging at my door. So, what I'm going to do now, while you rehearse your apology, is make myself a drink." "All right." He went to the wet bar, took out a silver set of martini-making necessities from the freezer compartment of the refrigerator, and very seriously set about constructing himself a martini in the manner practiced by and passed on to him by Brigadier General Bruce J. McNabb. This involved, among other things, rinsing out both the martini mixer